have all answered that the most dangerous one is the one that we thought was objective, with the organism metaphor. But now we understand that it's not objective anymore. That article also has a perspective. You know, the organism metaphor wants to unify the whole organization. We all work towards a common goal, for instance. That's typical for the organism metaphor, while the instrument of domination metaphor would say that, okay, the managers have for instance, one objective, and the employees a totally different objective. And this we have already practiced on, and I think you were, in this case, not in the other case, I don't think you were excellent, because you didn't have anything to report. But in this case, I think you were pretty good, actually. The fourth out of 5 different ways to use metaphors is categorizing real events. Now let me give you a very difficult task. If you were researchers and you would categorize this seminar, it's not a person you are categorizing, it's not me, it's not your neighbor, you are categorizing as a researcher, you are comparing this seminar to something else, which should not be taken literally, because then it would be false. If you would think about, you can also discuss with your neighbor for 2 minutes, which metaphor for this event, for this seminar. And in this case, you are the researcher, not studying your neighbor. It's more like an intellectual practice between the researcher or the student and the empirical event, which in the researcher's case could be a school. The student could try to think of this hospital, which metaphor does it look like? So please try to come up with a metaphor for this event, this seminar. 2 minutes. Examples for this seminar. Yes? I am a painter. I am a painter. I paint a picture for you. That's, thank you. That's very nice.
This seminar is like a prison breakout.
I take that as a compliment.
It's not a compliment. Prison breakout for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Although it's not about me, it's about a seminar. And I think a seminar is not about the person who hosts the seminar. A seminar is about the interaction. So, yes, okay. This is a way to characterize and to make sense of events, organizations, etc. Oh, sorry. Please.
I think this seminar is like a group of lumberjacks, people who cut the trees,
Okay, yes.
learning how to sharpen their axes.
That's pretty good. Okay. And applause. Thanks. Yes, one more.
Just like this from my colleagues just now. Research in this context is like a cruise. Like, only the exclusive people will be in the boats. Then we are navigating all around the world and learning about new things and exploring. And it's like an adventure. So I think this is what this seminar is all about. Trying to find some kind of a metaphor
Thank you. Thank you very much. Lots have been written about, it comes into my mind when you say this. Lots have been written about the power of metaphors. It's an extremely powerful tool to be used intentionally or intentionally. Very powerful, and it could be misused, but I trust you.
My question is totally nothing to do with metaphors. My question is, do cultures or languages of the original native, has any impact on metaphors? For example, you're saying that in Sweden, you have difficulty in telling about metaphors. I think also, I was just thinking, to myself, articulating to myself, when I looked around, when they were discussing, when you were saying about metaphors, they were discussing using their own language, not English. So how do you do that? Because different language will not use metaphors. So
this is a very good question, and all questions are good, but this is an extremely, exceptionally, very, very good question. And I think this could be worth a study. Yes, I don't have the answer. I don't know, to be honest. I think it's very interesting to compare, for instance, you couldn't compare how people in one organization in Sweden, which metaphors they use, with how people here in Malaysia talk about the organization, because the organization might be different. Therefore, they might use different metaphors. But if you somehow could compare the actual languages in a certain extent, which words are used in Swedish, or in Malay to express leadership, that would be very interesting. The best questions I can't answer.
That question is very relevant. My colleague and I, we discussed it earlier, and we chose that phrase, are entrepreneurs born or made? And then we thought, now, I wonder if, say, a journalist or editor in Barita Harian or Utusan, like, would they say, how would they put it in Malay? And we thought perhaps they would also say, adakah usahawanan dilahirkan atau dicipta or something like that. Bena. So I would think that they too would use metaphors.
Which means in English.
Yeah.
This is, I think this is perfect. This is, we have just, with your help, we have invited a new research area. Yes. Perfect. This is what seminars are for, I think. I think it would be similar, but not exactly similar. Some of the metaphors, yes, I would spontaneously say that some metaphors are very connected to the specific language, and some language is not. I was going to UK once, many years ago, and I was asked